Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to the International Day Trading Academy online global goal setting webinar series. This is part 2 in the series. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to part 1, then I highly recommend you do. However, I'm sure you'll catch up throughout tonight. And the series is for our traders and our wider community. So it's an important part of our success strategy to set goals every 90 days so we can renew, review, and make changes necessary. So great to see you all. We have a full house tonight. And I love that our community of people are so set on accountability. So welcome, welcome. So accountability, planning, purpose, and targets are the main contributors to this series. So this series is, we're going to go through some compliance slides. We're going to speak about, for the people that perhaps don't know so much about Cam and myself, we're going to have a chat to you about that. And we're going to talk about part 2 of the program and then wrap up. So full night. And I want to say hello to Cam. He's on here to co-present this evening.
Hi, Kel.
Hey.
How you going?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am super fabulous.
That is good.
You look very handsome tonight.
Thank you. I feel very refreshed, very relaxed. I treated myself to a massage today, Kel, so I'm feeling very. Yeah.
When do we get that time?
I snuck out. Well, you've got to reward yourself from now and again, haven't you? So I've been very well behaved, so I thought I'd treat myself.
Oh, wonderful, Cam. Great to hear. You look very refreshed and ready to go this evening.
Yeah, a little bit of oil in the hair, but that's okay.
Guys, it is an interactive session tonight. So if there's some questions or something that you'd like to share,
yes, please do.
Yeah, totally. There's a question and answer panel. We would love you to put your responses and your questions and your answers in there. We do have a habit of using our chat panel, and we're teaching everyone to go over to the question and answer panel because we can save everything if people ask for things. So make sure that's down on your bottom bar of your Zoom system. So over to you, Cam.
Also too, guys, I will remind everyone that you would have received an email this afternoon with the 90-day and 30-day action plan in there. So if you haven't already downloaded those, they're a great guide or a great tool to have to help you with your goal setting. So if you want to really partake in this session tonight and start to think about some goals that you want to create from the next 90 days. So obviously April, we're almost through April, but you could just say let's start it from April, and let's see you want to complete these goals by June 30. All right. So these goals you're going to be setting for the next 90 days. So you can use that form that we've sent you, those Word documents, and keep them handy with you, and you can track all of the key points that you want to achieve and all the action steps you have to achieve. And we'll go through that tonight as well to show you how you can do that, give you some ideas. So Kel, just going through the compliance slides. So for those people who don't know, we are authorized by Beyond Capital Asset Management for the purpose of futures trading education. And we are trading futures, and for those people who don't know, futures does work with margin. So we're actually borrowing money to trade the markets that we trade, and we're trading position sizes that are a lot larger than what our account will reflect that. So we use the power of leverage to increase our profits, but also can have the effect of increasing our losses as well. So we always have to be mindful of managing our risk. Also too, there's two primary trades. There's the winning trades and losing trades. So you can can gain money in your trades and you can lose money in trades. So we have to let you know that there are risks involved. And we're not going to be talking specifically about trading tonight, so we don't really need to talk about performance of our trading system, but we are going to be going through the information is general advice only. So, but we're not really talking about much on the trading aspect. So, you know, we don't really need to go through the performance stuff. So that's it, Kel.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you.
So tonight's program is, like you said, Kel, it is part 2 of part 1. So we do these every 90 days. And Lockie ran the first one in January, which was right at the start of the year, the 6th of January, I think was the first program that we did. And like Kel said, if you're a member, you can catch the recording of that in the members area. But I know Lockie talked a lot in that program around about setting your financial goals and being really mindful of chipping away, the power of compounding your trading account, compound interest, and also using your trade management spreadsheet or your capital projection spreadsheet. Does everyone have access to that spreadsheet in the FAQs of the members area? It's a very powerful document, and we really recommend that you use that document to assist you with setting your financial goals. And Lockie would have mentioned, or he did mention, that document very heavily in the first part 1 series, and we really want you to reflect on that. And if you haven't yet used it, it's very important you do use that document as just a foundation for setting financial goals in your trading. But anyway, the compound effect of trading is very powerful. It's all about just chipping away. You would have heard that saying, little fish are sweet, and you can build those little fishes by building bigger nets, and that's by using more contracts, and that'll make your net a lot larger. So to do that, first you have to be successful with 1 contract, and then you need to build up with 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts, etc., like some of our elite traders are doing currently, trading upwards of 10 contracts. So that was what we covered a lot in part 1. Part 2, we're going to review obviously the 2 documents, the 90-day action plan and the 30-day action plan. And also we're going to talk about trading goals and how you can stay on purpose, what type of things you can do to be accountable, and then also the power of resetting and reviewing those goals, like taking these periods of these webinars we do every 90 days, take the opportunity to use that as impetus for you to review what you've achieved and to reflect on what you've achieved over the first 90 days of the year, and then review and reset for the next 90 days, which we're going through now. So for those people who don't know me, my name is Cameron Buchanan. I'm co-founder and director of the International Day Trading Academy. I am a qualified teacher. I've got an extensive background in shares, futures, and I'm very fortunate that I know how to trade futures right now, because the share trading isn't that fun at the moment. So futures is definitely where I'm focusing all my attention right now, every day, as a matter of fact. Forecasting, I love looking at larger charts and predicting where markets are going to go, particularly for my own portfolio and my own investment portfolio, because everything at the end of the day revolves around financial cycles, and that can be predicted based on when you have a background, you have an understanding of what's going to happen in the future. So, and what's happened, and you can only know what's happened in the future from what's happened in the past. So I love being able to look at studying cycles and what's happened to predict the future, which is a lot of fun. Also too, I've done a bit of publishing in the Trading Edge magazine, so you would have seen some of the articles if you do subscribe to that magazine. I know a lot of our IDTM members do subscribe to it, but it's a wonderful magazine, and you get lots of great content from myself and Lockie, who's the other founder of IDTA, and also the systems architect of IDTA as well. So there's lots of great educational content. So, Kel.
Yes. Hey, Cam.
Hello.
I love listening to you. sounding fabulous and
Oh, thank you.
sounding energized, actually. Very energized. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Lowry. If you don't know who I am, and I'm the woman that works consciously and let's say carefully behind the two founders, Pam and Lockie. I keep them in line a little bit, let's say.
Absolutely. Talk about accountability.
Oh yes, big stick. I'm one of the owners of the Academy and also the CEO and director of our sister company, the Capital. My history is business. I've owned 14 businesses. I've had all forms of business from, one product right into in a totally different category product. So lots and lots of businesses. I did say 7 years ago when I joined the gentleman in the Academy that this was my last one. However, within this Academy, we've built quite an empire around it. So very exciting time. Ideally, what I do with our members is I offer them a whole lot of mindset work and the science behind mindset as well. There will become a time potentially for you in the future where you'll need to work with someone like myself to break through either your limits, look at your progression, look at your expansion, look at how you can take your trading and make it a business. And ultimately, I'm the head facilitator of our programs, our retreats and workshops, personal growth retreats and workshops called The Shift. And we have a retreat overseas and a few here in Australia. So I believe that it's the fundamentals of anyone as far as success. The fundamental aspects of it is building a solid foundation on getting to know yourself better, especially when you look at trading. And I've been dedicated to working with traders for the last 7 years. So I've worked with thousands of traders now. So it's been an exciting time, hence the reason I'm here working on your goals and looking at what we can work together on and co-create. So ideally, the goal setting program is all about setting your intentions over 12 months. And as Cam said before, it's looking at every 90 days, stopping, slowing down and accruing your goals, looking at where you reached, looking at what you completed, looking at where you fell off the path, and being accountable to self. I mean, really, when you look at goals every year, ideally, the average person gets to New Year's Eve. It's quite magical New Year's Eve because that's where often we set down goals for the following year and we're really excited about it. I don't know if it's the music, Auld Lang or it's the champagne. It is that time where I know that I've been to a few New Year's Eve do's and people become very excited about the possibilities of a new year. So it has a magic of bringing this opening which allows you to make different choices and let go of the year that was if it wasn't great. I mean, definitely hold on and expand if it was a fabulous year. And I know coming into the year 2020, especially at our conference, many of our members were saying, I just am so excited. 2020 is going to be a huge year. I can tell because of the numbers, 2020, and it's quite a powerful, if you're into numbers, quite a powerful year. And the last goal setting session was at the start of this year in January. That was 90 days ago. And who would have thought that 8 weeks ago we would be closing all schools, shopping centres, cafes, restaurants, borders, that banks would be paying for people's mortgages and the tax department would be giving back VAS, etc. And 70% of businesses went and worked from home online. I mean, that's in 8 weeks. Can you imagine, like when you think about it? It's like so many people that I talk to now are in a bit of a routine of doing this and massive, massive change. So much has occurred in this short time. Your goals and your purpose might have changed along with this massive change. So I just want you to think about that tonight. If you're on the first session, or just like steer yourself back and navigate yourself in the last 90 days. I did read something funny, and I thought it said, dear 2020, I don't remember this being on my vision board. And I laughed. I thought, wow, ain't that the truth? I don't think any of us sort of had put that in our vision board. But I do think that it's been quite a positive pandemic for many, and not taking away from the side that, you know, some people are stressed and job loss and things like that. But what I've seen is it's slowed everyone down. And the conversation I have with many of the people I mentor is, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. So no time to set goals, no time to even reevaluate their passions or their year or where they've come from. So, you know, right now we have this time. So it's a pretty special time, I think, to be looking at your goals and setting yourself up for the future differently. And maybe if you really haven't had the time to look at your purpose and your passions, now's the time to have a look at yourself. And for our traders, you know, remember why you started trading. Remember what it's going to allow you to do. And think about how life can look a little different if it hasn't been looking fabulous for yourself. So understand we are in an amazing time. And Cam, when you talk about cycles, this is a pretty awesome time. We have not seen a time like this in our cycle of life. So I believe it's a time of keeping it really simple and starting to have a look at what does work and what doesn't work, what you've got to do more of, and actually what you have to do less of moving into this next time. So 90 days we've got to now have a look at a reset, a huge reset, and it has merits. You know, reset has merits because there's that place where you might not have reached the goals that you wanted to, that you can kind of let yourself off the hook and say, well, maybe they were too large, maybe they were too big, maybe they were too hard to reach. Maybe I procrastinated too much. Maybe I was lazy, you know, maybe I had other things evolve, other experiences and urgent matters that took me off my path. But it's a real time to go, well, I'm going to reset and I'm going to have a look tonight at my life, you know, on a big macro scale, because that's what I'm here to talk about. And Cam's going to talk about your goals around trading, and to look at your own plan and your 90-day plan. And if you didn't get to, you know, write anything down, you must think it and ink it. If you don't write down what you want, how are you ever really going to get it? Life's busy. Even in this time of change, still busy. So I want to get you tonight and try and motivate you, everyone that's listening, to really take this time to sit down with yourself, your partner, your family, your children, your grandchildren, anyone around you, because the greatest gift that we can give is a legacy of teaching and a legacy of knowledge. And take this time for everyone to write down their 90-day plan, especially after the last 8 weeks. Has things changed? We've got this little gap in time where we can review and renew what we want out of life. So the 90-day plan, really important to plan. If you want something, you have to plan it. Have to plan it. And Cam, I believe that's a huge aspect of our success, because we're planners, we are very dedicated, very disciplined, and we are, you know, when people see our routine between myself, Lockie, and Cam, the amount of work and the amount of activity that we fit into quite a small space. To me, that they don't have the time efficiency. I'm like, I'm going to show you efficiency.
Yeah, and I think it's all about less is more, because even though we're in an interesting time, there's so much opportunity always, and when you've got goals, it keeps you on track with what's important and what you need to achieve. And what you need to, you know all the action steps you have to take to achieve a goal. So, you know, it's very easy to get tempted into new opportunities and new ideas and new things to do. Particularly, you know, if you're an entrepreneur and you've got lots of businesses coming your way and lots of ideas and people saying, hey, what about this? So when you've got those goals and you're just sticking very diligently and getting really clear, it's almost just stripping everything right back to just like
what's important,
bare bones, right? Just going right back to the skeleton. It's like any mechanics really get what I'm talking about, because mechanics love this sort of stuff, right? They just go back to every little piece of their life and go, right, what do I have to do and how everything all works together to create the beautiful masterpiece.
Yes.
So you have to have that mechanical mind, which we don't all have. Because we're so used to everything being given to us on a platter and here you go, you can do everything. But you do have to plan, and you have to step each and every single minute detail out. And even if and this can really hurt your brain sometimes, because when you're doing a brain dump on all those little things, that's where the magic's in the detail.
Yeah.
And people say the devil's in the detail, but I think the God is in the detail. And I think if you can see all those little pure things and build that into your plan, you're setting yourself up for a more chance of succeeding.
Yeah, I'll also say, Cam, just in that notation of the devil's in the detail, you know, making money, because I'm an investment mentor, so teaching people greater wealth strategies, and it's often around the money. Money makes money, but you need to have your mind on the money. You need to have your mind on the metrics. You need to know where the money's moving. You know, you need to understand money. And it's a key place when I speak to so many people, even people that do have some money, they don't feel like they have much money, but when you sit and go through the process and structure their money, they cannot believe what's possible. So sometimes, you know, making the greatest money is actually a little bit boring.
So it is, Kel. It's like trading. Like, I've just been reviewing some trade signals recently, just doing some back testing, and just this week alone, one of the trades that I'm looking at, there's been 25, around about 20 to 25. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but of trade setups that, you know, you got 25 opportunities, you know, to take trades, and you know, there's so many opportunities out there to take trades, but it's being so diligent in knowing that you only need to take one or two of those trades and that's all you need, right? When you've got such a high win rate or a high success rate, you don't need to overtrade. If you just do the simple things really well, the accumulation of those trades add up over time.
Of course. And you guys were on a webinar last night, everyone, and Cam and Lockie in the middle of the webinar were taking trade.
Yeah, and the key is the less exposure. Like, we don't need to be in the market very long, because at the moment most of our trades are taking less than 5 minutes, or out in the 5-minute candle.
Yes.
So it's, if you're trading using just, you know, small type targets and just you know, stripping that out of the market just over and over again, you don't need to overplay your hand. So just little fish are sweet, guys.
And think about that when you're going through your 90-day action plan. So 90 days is somewhere, like, think about the last 90 days. Like I said, January was the first goal setting session, and now look at how much has shifted and changed on the planet. And I believe it's going to continue. I will say, a lot happening, a lot of change happening that hasn't even, a lot coming, let's say, that hasn't occurred yet. So your 90-day action plan, just think about where you could actually set your targets and be in the next 90 days.
Yep.
The best way to do that is incrementally by
Mm.
looking at setting it down on 30 days, because we can all go, okay, in 4 weeks, I know I would like to be here. So it's, you know, our teachings are about saying, look, big fish, 90 days, smaller fish, 30 days, and even smaller, and I'll talk about that in a moment, which is down to kind of weeks and days. So if you set yourself up every day, especially if you're working from home or not the same routine as normal, or your children aren't at school and, you know, schooling from home, it's routine is one of the most important aspects of success, and discipline for that matter.
Mm.
So having a look at how your life looks and being accountable. So an important part of the process is talking about accountability, because if you start setting routine every day, it's consistent. Momentum for success can build. I mean, we're going to talk about accountability in a moment, and Cam's going to talk about accountability in trading, but I'm talking about you and life, and opening that space where you can start to really understand what I'm talking about when I talk about accountability empowers you to be in control of your actions in your personal and business life. And I talk about business life being trading life. So, you know, looking at, you can create your own opportunities rather than passively allow life to kind of happen around you. And sometimes if you're a procrastinator, this will really resonate with you. I mean, once you're accountable and you meet your goals, it's quite contagious, and it's very empowering for yourself, and it actually quite excites you to go and set another goal on something that's been hanging out there or you haven't reached for some time. So some little keys there is writing down, you know, think it and ink it. If you don't spend the time to do your plan, let's say for some reason it's all too hard, it's all too big, your 90-day and your 30-day plan, I mean, what that does is captures, you know, a large vision, and then allows you to kind of bring it down to 30-day action vision, and then bring it down to a smaller vision, which is your pocket rocket. So your pocket rocket for members is in your members area. I think Cam, you might drop in a link later for that if you can't find it. But for people that aren't members in the wider community, if you would like a pocket rocket, so it's a little gold card that sits in your wallet or in your pocket, every day you pull it out and you read it. And, you know, every week you could write yourself small little goals. And every time you pull it out, every morning you write and you say, well, you've already written it per week, and you say every morning each of those goals. And I can assure you, the moment you say them out loud, you're kind of dedicating and being a witness of what those goals are outwardly, and it allows your subconscious mind to pick up those concepts and ideas and make sure it keeps you on track. You'd be quite interested to know if you get off track, your subconscious mind kind of says, oh, this doesn't feel right, I shouldn't be doing this, and it's not in alignment with your goals. So you see how important it is to fill out that pocket rocket. Take it every time you open your wallet. Like if it's about money, if it's about making more money or being more successful around that money space, I put it in your wallet, because every time you open your wallet to spend money, it's like you start to ask the question, do I really need this, or do I not, because I'm saving? So pocket rocket's a really important, you know, aspect to your goal setting. And if you are one of our wider community parties that doesn't have access to our membership, then go to info at idta.com.au, and we can send you out a pocket rocket. And accountability, reasons why, personal reasons why. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in a moment. We talk about being on purpose. However, sometimes when life gets really busy and it feels like a solid impact, when you have children, grandchildren, investments, you're trading, you don't have a lot of time, you have jobs or you know, businesses, you kind of can get lost in the reasons why. So think about it. Think about personal reasons why you're doing what you're doing, why you're trading, what does it give you, why you're at business or why you're in your job, what does it give you, why you're coaching, what does it give you. So these things allow you to be accountable. Also, it's great to have a buddy or a partner, you know, always great. It doesn't have to be someone you're in a relationship with, but it can be someone, another trader. It can be a really good friend, but someone that's I suppose, someone that has different skills to you that can keep you accountable. Because if you're a procrastinator, quite interesting if you kind of have a bit of a community around you. At times, some people will fill their life up with people likened to them. So if you're a procrastinator, then they fill their life up with other people who are procrastinators as well. So start to kind of identify who could be a great buddy and how that looks for you, because they will, it's just a quick check-in. It can be every day if it's someone close to you, and it's pre-trading. Why should you trade today? Why should you not trade today? How are your goals going? Did you look at your goal card this week? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Did you fill out your 90-day plan? Let's do the plan together. You see what I'm saying? It will motivate you. It will keep you on guard. Having beautiful visions and dreams together and the whys together is an important part of keeping you on a great path. Also, being accountable allows you, as I said before, it gives you that little hit of meeting those accomplishments, you know, setting them down, feeling confident in yourself. Confidence is a really important part to be successful in life and in trading. Building that confidence will allow you, as Cam said a little bit earlier, start to leverage even your contracts, going from one contract to four and so on. But the confidence allows you to stay true to your cause and milestones. Otherwise, you don't know where you're shooting for. But, you know, make sure when you think about accountability that you're not setting your goals too high or too low. Just ask yourself the question, if it innately feels to you that it's too high, then maybe just come back to that place where you know you can reach and you know that you can be satisfied by reaching those goals. However, if you need to kick yourself out of the nest a little bit, think about, you know, how you can push yourself a little bit beyond that boundary. So Cam, accountability in trading.
Also too, Kel, with the pocket rockets, they're in the FAQs area, or the members area, if any members
Brilliant.
need them.
Fabulous. Thank you, Cam. And you can print those out, guys. Print it out on a little piece of harder card or paper. Fill them out every day, every week, every month. You know, you can do as many as you want.
And so look, these points here are really very basic, and you know, like I said, it's all about simplicity. However, you're going to be at everyone's going to be at different stages of their trading journey and their trading learning. So, you know, if you're going back to a 90-day plan, for instance, like what do you want to achieve in the next 90 days? You know, for a beginner trader, it could be just to get through the 101 course first, and then write down all the unanswered questions in that 101 course and get those questions answered. Go to weekly coaching, like lock in weekly coaching. That's an action step to achieving, you know, to get yourself. So the goal might be, I want to be able to set myself up for simulation trading. So there's a lot of steps you need to achieve to get to simulation trading stage. So you need to obviously do the 101 course. You need to get your trading platform set up. You need to learn how to use the trading platform. You know, attend accelerator program. You might need to set up a live trading account so that you don't have to get demo accounts all the time. Fund the account with the minimum requirement. Join a trading hub, and that's a you know, going down to point 3. You know, joining a trading hub is a brilliant way of staying accountable.
Yeah, so true.
Have a trading buddy. That's where you can meet a trading buddy at your trading hubs. So, you know, they're some of the action steps to be able to achieve being able to set up to get set up with your simulator trading and start to put some trades on. Then the next goal might be, you know, developing a trading plan, and what's involved in setting up a trading plan. So, you know, all the different aspects of a trading plan, the components to make up a trading plan are very, very important. But these things, these are a goal. To create a trading plan is a goal, and it's going to hurt your brain to be able to do that. So you do need to take the time to work out what you're going to trade, because there are lots of trades. Like tonight, I'm just looking at the S&P 500 tonight, and there is so many trades that have been successful. But
You sound like you want to take some trades right now.
I've just, for the last hour, it's been absolutely so clean. It's so ridiculously easy out there. But
and just to add to what you're just saying, I remember going to a trading hub a period of time ago and asking the whole room of people, of traders, and there was quite a group of traders, how many people had a trading plan or had updated their trading plan in the last 90 days. And about a handful of, like 10% of people.
Yeah.
Don't get comfortable with your plan. Keep pushing yourself. If you haven't updated it in the last 3 months, then you need to sit, you need to look, and you need to review.
Take the time, and you've got to set up a trading plan that suits you and your trading style. So, you might have seen like Hilly in the Facebook page today, saying he's going for a 500 tick trade. Now that's not going to suit everyone,
Yeah.
John Freeman's more of a longer term trader. Hilly, it will go for those trades, but they're comfortable and they're experienced in taking those types of trades. So if you just want to get in and out of the market like a scalper, then define a trading plan that suits you. All right. Your innate ability. If you don't like to have large exposure in the market, don't look for trades that are going to go for a long time. You only want to get in and out really quickly. So
don't be romanced.
Don't get romanced. Yeah. So test when you do a trading plan. You have to test something. So you need to build up a series of trades, or even just. It's very easy to do some back testing. All you need, first of all, is a spreadsheet. All right, or a piece of paper with some columns and some rows, and you just write down the time of the trade. All right. First of all, you need to know the components of the trade. So you need to write down every component. It's like a checklist that you're looking for. Then you just go back day in, day out, each day. All right. Just go, maybe start on Monday this week. All right, and just go through to present day. And then just look at that trade that you wanted to take, and then just using the ruler tool in the NinjaTrader platform. It's free. The ruler tool. You don't need indicators or anything. It's free. You just, from the rule, using the ruler, the ruler tool, you basically just go from where you would have entered to where the market would have finished. All right, and then you just write in the result. If it's positive or negative, you just write in where it would have gone. And so if it took out your stop loss, what would that stop loss would have been? Then you look at how far did the market go in your favor. So just write that down. And that gives you a really good idea of how that trade will go over a period of time. So it's quite amazing. And what this is also doing for you, it's building confidence without even the stress of putting a trade on or pressing the button and going through all that fear and greed. So it's taking all the emotion out of doing too many things. You're basically just looking at one thing and just documenting how that trade went. And we've got so much time on our hands at the moment. We're not spending 2 hours commuting to work anymore. You're not being able to go out and do all the things that you love to do. So put the time into loving your trading and learning to love your trading more by knowing your trade. So that's super important, Kel, is knowing your trading plan. And then the second thing is then start to think about the financial goals. And in the program one, Lockie talked about, his compounding effect and how he makes money is through 10 ticks per day, 4 days per week, a 3K startup with a 2K step up, using the capital projection spreadsheet. So, and that's free also in the members area. Using that forecasting spreadsheet, you can put all the data in there and it just spits out when you're going to achieve those goals. So once again, there's another example of using technology to show you, if you just do this thing, this is what's going to occur. once again, you're taking all the emotion out of it, because you're actually doing the work beforehand. So you're doing all the pre-planning and pre-preparation. And I don't know what the third point was, Kel.
Oh, sorry, I went totally on.
Oh, who's going to keep you accountable?
Yeah, buddies.
Well, yeah, it's self-assessment is super important. So however you self-assess, if it's weekly, every month, every 90 days, assessing your goals. So self-assessment is super important to do, first of all. Then, if you've got the luxury of having a trading buddy, then work, team assessing with your buddy and working together as a team. So that is that's tough. Being accountable to someone is not easy, and you may need to overcome a few personal, maybe some ego challenges that we all have. But that true accountability really requires you to really face the truth from another person, and it's an unbiased, a bullet between the eyes, sort of, as Lockie would say. It's that truth of what's actually happening. So it's a real focus time, and I know we had our TBS webinar the other night, and our threesome, our ladies who work together as a buddy, Jeanette, Carol, and Heather, they've said that's the best part of TBS so far, is that relationship they've got with each other.
Yeah.
Learning to work with each other and being accountable every day. They check in with each other, and having that, it's completely open, completely honest, and they're all working awesomely as a team to achieve those goals that they want to achieve.
And guys, if you don't have a partner or buddy or someone that you think that would be great in this place, you can always get on to FB IDTA Traders and say, like, is anyone looking for a buddy? It doesn't matter where you live. Like, we have had buddies in Australia who have buddied up with Malaysia or the US, or they've just made it work. So if that's what you're looking for, utilize the places where people hang out, or in the LTR, somewhere like that, to make sure that you have, you're putting it out there and you get your needs met. So thanks, Cam.
Spot on, Kel.
Great information. So just moving on to purpose, to stay on purpose. When you're talking about life, it's like, what's the meaning of life? I think that was in a movie. Was that Brian, Life of Brian, Meaning of Life? Brian,
you've been a very naughty boy.
So it's looking at yourself and just say, do I have meaning? Do I have meaning? If you're in that restricted thinking where it's like, well, I work every day, then I trade, and you feel exhausted, and you've just lost your happy, start to have a look at what your meaning is, why you're doing what you're doing. So it allows you to understand, like, staying on purpose allows you to understand that you understand that your purpose is constantly changing. All right. So Cam said a little bit earlier about cycles. Us humans, we all live in cycles. We all live in, whether it's a 30-day cycle, a 90-day cycle, a 12-month cycle, they're all cycles, and creations and goals take time to reach, and that's why cycles occur. So life is changing, and by the moment, as I said a little bit earlier, quite drastically in the last 8 weeks. So, when those goals change, the goal pace change, your goals potentially change within that. So rarely I'll ever find in all the thousands of people that I mentor, people that have the same concept from when they were in their 20s, that they do now. So, and often, like, what would be my purpose would not necessarily be anyone else's purpose here on the webinar tonight. So, assuming that everyone has similar purposes, or even your partner has a similar purpose, is an important conversation you need to have, because that's where you get partnershiping. That's where you get alignment.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's so important to your trading, because if your ecosystem, your environment is in balance and harmony, your emotional status is going to be clear, clean, and you're going to be in what we call flow. In flow allows your sixth sense to be on point, your intuition to be flourishing, and for you to build momentum in your trading. So you see, looking at your life and sort of having that expression of going, so what is happening in my life? What's hanging out there? You know, do I have a sense of purpose? Am I staying on purpose? Do I fall off purpose? And asking yourself that question is an important part of the process. And look at what you were doing. And, you know, sometimes it's nice to sort of go back and reflect on your mission when you were 20. I mean, 20s, what were you doing? You know, it was usually about missions of people often in their 20s are about sort of wanting to give back, helping the world, traveling the world, partying the world. At university, educating, having fun, you know, not too many restrictions. But the goal was of exploration and also often in your 20s, you know, you're not thinking you're too restricted by that time, but you get into your 30s and your 40s and then you start thinking about children and schooling and investment and raising a family and, you know, with great core values. And sometimes, you know, if you had solid dreams or independent purpose in your 20s, they might have faded away between your 30s and your 40s. And then you reach off in the 50s and the 60s, and you'll notice again that the goalposts move. And now your passions could be that the children are older and maybe grandchildren. But often when you get to that age too, health becomes a passion and a purpose. You know, you want to stay healthy and you want to stay alive and you want to stay vital. And especially when you're trading, it is so important to have a healthy brain so that you can stay very focused for the period of time, for somewhere between 90 minutes to 2 hours a day at least, to be on point and to reach your goals. So you see, purpose is an important part of our life, and it gives us the meaning in life. So if this is something that you hadn't really thought about in your trading, as I said before, if you don't have purpose and you don't have meaning, you're just showing up and kind of doing the actions. Lost the essence of what it's all about. I mean,
and it goes back to the value, valuing yourself and worthwhile, worthiness.
Yeah. Joy.
Yeah. And that's what Mark Douglas says in I remember in The Disciplined Trader, one of the great statements, he says, the market is just a reflection of your worthiness, your value.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you value yourself, you know, the market is giving you loads of opportunities to value yourself.
Absolutely, and be able to take some money out of the market because
receive,
because Mark does talk about that, Cam. He talks about he has really solid core values.
That goes back to that clarity, hey Kel, like being really super detailed and clear with what you're doing, and that the order, the flow, you know, getting into that godlike state is just
definitely,
that's where you want to be.
And we are fortunate, Cam. You, myself, and Lockie absolutely freaking love what we do. Love giving back. We love building our community. We love, you know, we love the success of it. We love the give back and the reward to the people, like we're doing tonight. So you've had the full experience of this. That's why we're here teaching it. So the one thing I don't want to happen for the people that are listening tonight is to wake up and have no purpose. Wake up each morning and not having a purpose. And that's where unhappiness is built. And you start then, you know, potentially going into a downward spiral of that. So something has to make you tick. Something has to make you tick. It's pretty simple, you know, to find, but it's also profound. You need to have a reason. You need to have a reason to wake up every morning and get moving and get into action. And routine and discipline around this will support you to get there. The more you waver, the more you procrastinate, the more you don't think it and ink it, the more you don't write down and even take the time to funnel down your goals, the more life will just happen to you, and the years will go on. The years will go on and on and on, and you wouldn't have used this time in your life on the planet to make some decisions and find what that is. So exploration is an important part of this on purpose process for everyone listening. So something to live for, something to live for, something to get excited about every day. You don't have it, go find it. So staying on purpose, Cam.
All right, stay on purpose. Quite appropriate. I was just responding to a question. And we've talked a lot about this already today, Kel, but consistent routine with your trading. So schedule when you're going to trade. That's really important. Like, just be completely focused and ready when you're trading. That's one of the key points, is to stay on purpose, is to build consistency. So if you're a European Open trader, you don't miss a European Open session.
Yes.
If you do, then that's okay, but you've got to build consistency around when you're going to trade. And Jason asked, what are the best time parameters to trade? And the easiest answer to that is when you're most available to trade.
And can I add to that, Cam? Also, because we do talk about profiling, and this is an important part that I've seen over the 7 years of totally being dedicated to mentoring traders, is you all have an innate skill and an innate genius within you. It's finding the perfect market that suits your profile, suits your risk management, suits your decision making. If you're a little bit more of a processor and a slower decider, then you need to choose a market that suits you.
Yes.
You wouldn't be trading, if that's you wouldn't be trading in the DAX. You wouldn't be when it's volatile as well. It will feed back to you that you can't, that you can't build confidence, that you can't do this.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put ourselves in that position. So
no,
your
you just
credibility is important, Cam. Yeah. And where I was going with that is, there's some people that know that they're morning people.
Yeah.
That's when your brain is functioning. It's on high focus, connected attention. There's other people that are like, you might call yourself a night owl, and that's when you're on. So you decide. And some people in the middle of the day, the afternoon is their time. But you need to know that, because I mentor people who are trying to force themselves to stay up and they're falling asleep. And honestly, they're saying, why am I not a great trader? And they're having losses and they're lagging to get into a trade, not getting picked up. So, really look at this as an important part of your process. Look at the time where you have the most energy. Of course, as Cam says, there's that other practical aspect, which is depending on when you have the time, and start to design a personal plan that suits you in your abilities.
Yep. I think also, to a turning point in my trading was point 2 was self-assessment of your trading performance daily. And when I took the time to actually fill out, I had a very detailed performance metric spreadsheet that actually made me stop and analyze each trade. And it was the best thing I've ever done, because it slowed me down tremendously to really achieve my goals. And that was a turning point for me in my trading when I did that. It was that respect. I respected every trade, win, loss. I wasn't just focused purely on the winning trades and getting winners, because I had a tendency personally to sort of dismiss the losers and just went, oh, well, that's that didn't happen. But those ones are the ones you got to learn from, and you can only do that from taking the time to feel the pain and write it down.
And release the pain.
Release the pain, because the attachment that we have to losing trades is so powerful, and it's even the thought of it makes me cringe. Yeah, it makes me cringe, the thought of a losing trade. But they're going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you've got to, you can't run away from them, because you'll never take a trade. If you're trying to avoid loss, you won't even be in the market.
Well,
And
yeah, let me say it's a natural human condition, though, to avoid loss. We're taught to avoid loss.
yeah, oh yeah,
To
it's in our
avoid
DNA.
to avoid uncertainty.
Avoiding uncertainty, and that's what Mark Douglas does talk about a lot too. Is
Yeah,
that
Mark and I like this.
so you have to accept, and I say this time and time again, and I feel like a broken record, but you have to accept the uncertainty of life,
Yeah.
and the markets is uncertain. But the closest thing that's going to give you certainty in life is actually the records you keep and the trading plan that you follow. Those two consistent items are the closest thing you're gonna come to finding peace in uncertainty. So, guys, you got to get uncomfortable with feeling uncertain, like that cringy feeling, wherever you feel it, if it's in the guts or in your heart or in your head, wherever that is, that feeling, you've got to feel it and breathe through it. That's the only way. And then the third point is regular exercise and movement, because trading is so left brain and analytical and just so consuming on the brain cells. We need to be able to exercise to release all that burnt up brain sugar, all that blood sugar that we burn up in the brain. And if you've been listening to Dr. T in the Immunity for the Community series, is one thing I've learned from him, is that you have to do some type of exercise or movement after you've been trading. Even if you just go for a walk or bounce on I've got a rebounder in the back here in the office here that I can just bounce on the rebounder just to get the blood moving, get the blood out of the brain. That's a really awesome thing to stay on purpose and stay focused. But it's a brilliant way to give yourself energy as well, because as traders we do need a lot of energy.
And I'll also say, if you've had losses, Cam, it does release adrenaline into your system, and what does happen is it can lock down into your organs, into your body.
Cortisol.
Yeah, the cortisol can't. There's no way we can release it, right? So it locks into your system. I'm just trying to simplify it without too deep into the science of it. However, what happens is it locks into your memory. Yeah.
Yes.
What happens is, when you get to that place again where you think you're going to have a loss, you might jump out of a trade really and lose.
Yeah.
Because you jumped out. Yeah, it was going to run. Or you might have another loss and then freeze as well. And what you are doing is you're locking a behavior into your memory, and it does need to be released. And that's a place that I work in with people. And you can be in denial and say it's not there, but I can assure you it's there. It's there. So when we talk about loss, it's being okay with loss. And that's why it's so important to plan and have a trading plan and understand your figures, because if you have a loss, it's part of your plan. It's going to happen. There are going to be losses. And that's why we say it's important to navigate where you're going in your trading. So just moving a little bit of gear into review and reset targets. So whilst I think everyone starts out pretty strong with their goals, setting them down, and determination can wane as life gets in the way. Maybe you become unwell, or someone else becomes unwell, and it sets you back in your goals. It's that important part. You need to set yourself some form of alarm to say, you know what, I need to get up and get back on the horse. And that's where, again, a buddy's great, because they're the ones that turn around and say, okay, you've had your time. We now need to get back on the horse, especially when we talk about loss. Some people just go off the path and they just cannot get back into trading. And you need to converse about it. You need to release this feeling, because, as I said before, it is biochemical, and sometimes people, when they're so locked in to their bodily functions, they go into freeze mode. And what it does do is it makes you physically and mentally exhausted over time. And that's why some people go, it's just all too hard. So the reason why we're doing these goal setting sessions is to keep you on the track, is to keep you committed, is to, if you're not strong enough, then, you know, find a buddy that is, find a partner that is, find someone you can communicate with about this. So otherwise, you can stay off that path for a period of time. So we want to encourage you, you know, for those times that potentially you are discouraged, how to get back on the path, how to know that that you've fallen off, and how to know that it is time, and every moment of every day you can reset. You know, it doesn't mean you've got to be there. If you're there for weeks and wallowing, that's okay. It's being able to have that conversation and say, today I'm resetting right now. So if this has occurred for you, tomorrow morning when you wake up with all this information tonight, it would be great to print out your 90-day and your 30-day plan, have your pocket rocket there and say, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, or after this webinar, and I'm going to do my planning. I'm going to take one moment out of my life to do this planning, to review and to reflect on what did work and didn't work in my trading or in my life, reevaluate it. What do I need to do differently? You look at simplifying, simplify. It's a natural human condition to try and make things complex, add more things into it, especially when something is successful, and then mess it up and muck it up. Take full responsibility, establish your new plan. It doesn't have to be big and long. It's just even taking the action to do it is a huge step towards your success. And then the next step is time blocking. You have, if you want to be effective, if you want to be successful, if you want to make money, you have to block the time out so you can be more efficient. So reset is an important part to setting targets, Cam, because otherwise you don't know where you're traveling to.
Yeah, I love it. Now, so Brendan just asked a great question about the capital projection spreadsheet. Is there a guide on how to use the capital projection spreadsheet? Which is actually, when you download it, if you've got Excel or like an open office type software for us, you just need a spreadsheet software. And then you can even put it into your Google Sheets as well. You know, first of all, obviously doing your capital projection spreadsheet is the first thing to do. Now, there should be a video on how to do it if you've got access to weekly coaching. There would be, if you just scour through the weekly coaching resources, there will be a session on how to do the forecasting spreadsheet or the capital projection spreadsheet. That should be in there. If it's not, I'll just double check with Lockie to see if there is something on there. But that's the opening page of that document is quite self-explanatory. You just have to fill in the fields that allow you to add that information in. So you basically put in your, what your desired number of ticks would be, or first of all, you put in what the market you're trading, what one tick is worth. Then you put in your minimum desired goal, your maximum desired goal, and your minimum, maximum, and your desired goal. So there's 3 levels you place in there. Then you put in what your average risk is going to be. So how many ticks of risk you're prepared to lose. And then you put in the amount of money that you're going to be trading with. And then you also put in the amount of risk percentage. So if you're going to risk 5% of your account, 3% of your account, 2% of your account, it's in there. So just complete that. Oh, actually, Stephen, thank you for that. Stephen has said there is a weekly coaching session on the topic done by Fred. So that will be in there.
Brilliant.
But that's very easy to establish. That is a no-brainer. You have to do that to start with, because you have to have an idea of what you need to achieve. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to walk away. And that's a big point. You need to have a walk away point. When you know you've met your goal for the day, walk away. We hear it all the time. I was trading so well. I had 3-4 trades in a row. Then I had one big losing trade and I took it out. I hear it all the time. It just doesn't.
I hear it every day.
I know, we hear it every day. So if you have in your plan, in your trading plan, even in your capital projection spreadsheet, you know what your desired minimum daily goal. If you meet those goals, you're done. There's no excuse. You don't have to be on the trading anymore. Number 2, journal your experiences and observations of the market. Now, this is super important, guys, because as an advanced trader, you're going to do things that maybe a beginner trader won't do, because you've got the experience, you've got the runs on the board. You know, you might trade through a brick wall because you know that you've got a bigger reason why you should trade through that brick wall. Okay, you've got, you know, you're more flexible, you're more nimble, you're more dynamic in your trading. And that comes with market experience. And you just don't wake up and you've all of it. You know, you know exactly how the markets work. It doesn't work like that. It's time. You need to put yourself in the market, but you need to write down what you observed, because when you build these observations around, you start to see patterns in the market, and you start to see behavior in the market where you could go, wow, man, there's a really simple trade right there now. All I have to do now is take it, because I've seen this happen so many times, and this trade is going to give me a really good opportunity of getting my targets for this one trade. But you can only do that from time, and that gives you that patience as well. So write down all your experiences, good, bad, everything. Observe what you're seeing in the market. This is where you can start to, if you broaden your horizon, start to look at the 60-minute charts, the 4-hour charts, 15-minute charts, 30-minute charts. Those things also can assist you with your decision making on the 5-minute chart. And number 3, regular reviewing of your trading plan. And that can be, say, for instance, you know, your trading plan may be off at the moment. There's something that you're not quite getting. That's where you start to, by taking great notes, observations of all the trades, you can start to build a bit more of a case around a tighter trading plan or a stronger trading plan. And you know what? Sometimes trading plans, they might go off the boil too. You know, they might be going really, really well for a moment, and then all of a sudden, you know, things start turning. So you need to also have maybe a second trade that you can work on as well. All right. And this is where you can do while you've got time now, is to back test on a second trade and start to focus. Well, you know what? I'm going to start to focus on turning bars and become a master of turning bars. So this could be your next 90-day goal, is by the end of 90 days, I would have built up a bank I would have studied 90 days of turning bar trades.
Yeah.
Right? And would
great
have
idea, Cam, especially because we're talking about innatability as well.
Yeah, and you would have tested, you know, because there's some people out there that are trend traders. You know, like Lockie, he's a trend trader. He's very good at trend trading. Then you got someone like Fred, who's very good at reversals. You know, and trading against the trend, right? So, you know, those things only come with practice and skill, and, you know, doing these trades over and over again. So, or not doing the trades, first of all, just looking at the trades and observing the trades and documenting how the trades performed.
Pattern recognition as well, Cam. Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition. Like I'm doing a little bit of work on a pattern at the moment that I'm seeing that's occurring, and it's an incredible success rate. And then when you combine it with the IDTA 5-minute trades as well, it's just like, oh my God, it's working so well, right? So, but then that might turn off after a while. So then I've got to start to review and got to start to maybe, you know, combine other things. So,
you know what? Because you changed what I said a little earlier. You change, the market changes. Nothing stays the same.
No.
You know,
and
things about review.
And this is a great, like, what I'm experiencing right now in the market, because I'm trading the S&P 500, right? And for any of you guys who trade the Nasdaq or the S&P 500, you guys know that the market is on a significant price level right now. It's hovering around a 50% of a huge movement in the market. That big sell-off that we had, we've retraced to 50% of that sell-off, right? We've already done that. And that only took a month, less than a month, to get back to the 50%. Now, when markets get back to the 50% of a major move, they get stuck around that level. So this is why we're seeing the market is just revolving and rotating. So, you know, like for instance, I think, I can't remember, I think Monday was a really good day for shorting the market, right? And then I think yesterday was a really good day for longing the market. And I think today was a really good day for shorting the market and longing the market. So the market's in this sort of revolving sort of pattern because it's stuck on this major level. So now that you know that, well, you just look and you look to trade off areas where the market's getting stuck, because the market's in a range. So to get your biggest trades, you're going to be trading from the bottom of the range back up to the top of the range, and vice versa. And you know that's even happening on a small scale as well. So even on a 5-minute chart, you're just trading from pivot to pivot, basically. So or today's high to today's low, you know, and vice versa. So it's like those types of things. When you start to read the market, that comes with your journaling, your experiences and observations in the market, and then
training the brain
to see the patterns.
And that's what people say. They call themselves.
Yep.
I'm actually going to do a video on this, just how, if anyone feels that this might be valuable, but when the market's so volatile, the brain sees pattern recognition. So it has an innate ability to respond to you, and for you to trigger you to go, oh wow, look what's happening. I've seen that pattern so many times before.
Yeah.
So the brain locks patterning into a mapping system. So talk about really trading system mapping the brain. It's just understanding that that your biggest challenge is working with your emotions to that, right?
Yeah.
Kind of simple. The brain's very, very intelligent. So training the brain is key. And that's why we talk about things like vitality, keeping your brain healthy, keeping it active, you know, trading at that time when your energy's high. So, but just because we're bringing it up now too, Cam, I might do a little video on training the brain and how to cope in certain times, and how to lock in patterning, and how to become a better pattern hunter.
That would be great, Kel. I think that would be really powerful.
Yeah, that's if everyone sees it as value. I see we've got so many valuable members, and I'm going to say I just did a quick slip through our members right now, and it's all like the A game on, and I can see all our different members, and I've just got to say, like, all of you that are on tonight, you know, it's half the battle to show up and have a listen and learn and check in with yourself and say, well, what have I got to do? What have I got to do? What other steps do I need to take?
Yeah.
And listening to your mentors. Remember, we've done it. That's why we're teaching it. And such an amazing group of people on tonight. So I just want to acknowledge you all.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So for people asking about the spreadsheet, it is in the FAQs. So if you go into trading resources, FAQs, it's right at the bottom of the list. It's right near where the pocket rocket resides as well. And there's a very good risk calculator in there also as well.
Brilliant. And last but not least, Cam, just talking about reward. I just want you guys to, the ones that are tough on themselves, and you know who you are, and I can see some people that are quite tough on themselves here in the group tonight.
Yes.
Understand, we talked a little bit earlier about, you know, the biochemistry of who you are and what occurs. So dopamine spikes in your brain when something is important is about to happen and give you a surge of pleasure or pain if it's around loss. But when you've met a goal and you've totally created the time and energy to write it down and you've accomplished it, what it does is it actually locks into your body or your memory the joy of meeting and reaching that goal. So, and it also gives you the inherent motivation and productivity to keep going. And you'll find that once you reach one goal, it becomes quite a quick succession to meet the next goals. And that's what we call momentum. So, you know, using the science of who you are simplifies your reactions instead of getting into some big story about who you are. It's actually quite simple. Once you know the education of trading, you're really, you know, you're in an effect of getting to know who you are and how powerful your brain can be and your body can be in response. So, you know, when we talk about the power of the brain and the power of the body and the mind, the soul and the spirit, it's like if once you get to know each of these simplified versions, and as we said before, do the work, allow the biochemical responses, allow the science of your brain to be on point and on purpose, really you get down to a point where you're doing everything brilliantly towards your creation of success. So when we talk about simplifying, it's not hard, it's not more information, and it's not that you need to be smarter or more intelligent. It's actually the simple structural concepts that we're talking about tonight. So give yourself a reward.
All right, Kel, can I show you my reward? It's been sitting under my desk for the last hour or so, but it's a schnitzel. How good does that look, guys? It's a palmy. It's a palmy. Actually, it's not a schnitzel.
It's palmy army for you.
I hope you're not a vegetarian, but I cannot wait to rip into this.
You are very fortunate to have a daughter who cooked that for you. Guys, give yourself a reward. If you're that sort of person that's a bit tough and hard on yourself and you don't often allow yourself to receive, then I'm totally talking to you guys. The can be everything from a dinner, like Cam said, nurturing the body by giving it some food, or it could be a cup of coffee, or it could be, some people love a little glass of wine after they're finished trading. Some people, I mean, a bigger one, you know, if I meet this huge goal in 90 days, it could be a small holiday or a large holiday. Like, it's something to look forward to.
You have to have goals, guys. You know, humans, you know, we have to have something to look forward to. And that's what that differentiates us from, you know, from animals. You know, we have that conscious thinking mind that we can actually create what we want to do, and we've got a lot more power than what we give ourselves credit for, or what we realize. So, you know, use that. You know, really work on yourself to know how worthy you are, and love yourself, because, you know, that's ultimately, you know, what we're here to do, is to create and have fun, and you know, reap the, you know, sow the seeds and reap the rewards. So, you know, keep it very simple.
And that's us for tonight, Cam. We've taken a little bit of time up out of your life. I'm hoping and trusting in your being that you got some value. You know, some of you might have had some aha moments. Some of you might have got massive value out of tonight. And goal setting part 2 webinar series. You know, please ask the questions. As Cam said, you know, we directed you towards some tools. Also, if you do have losses in this volatile market this time, and you feel that quite paralyzed or frozen, my quick recommendation is to go and do a meditation. There's so many on YouTube, but, you know, a let go meditation, in order to let go and allow the subconscious to release yourself from that cortisol that is building up in your system, and be able to and I was speaking to some of the people like you, Terry, this evening.
Terry.
I wrote tonight for you.
Terry.
However,
I didn't.
Just give yourself a reward, even being on the webinar this evening. Give yourself a reward. I know, I can assure you, Cam is having a ball trading right now. I've never seen him so happy. And he even gets up in the middle of the night to go and put a little trade on, and comes back to bed, and we have a giggle. And usually I'd be a little upset from waking me up, but he usually comes back and has a little whisper in my ear and shares with me how well he's going. So, but Cam, I agree. When Cam became more structured, and I'm his buddy in trading, when he became more structured, more diligent, and knew his figures and knew his dollars and cents, that is when your trading went great guns, because you grew respect for that part of the process. Every brilliant, great trader plans, reports, and then rewards. So
yeah, that's right. And it's all about being okay with the loss. Like that's the bottom line. It's like it's preparing for the losses and knowing that they're going to come, but you're ready to take opportunities of the winners, because after each loss, there's generally a high probability of a winner. So that's the mindset you have to have.
That's my key area that I work with, and I mentor our people, is mainly on loss and how to cope and how to deal with loss. So,
and also too, another thing too, Kel, that you say so well is that if you experiencing losses and you're affected by the losses so much, you might not be ready to live trade at the moment. You just might not. You might not be quite ready there yet. You haven't got into your flow of how you trade yet. You haven't found your one trade. You've got to find that contentment when you found that contentment in what you're doing, and it's got to be yours, right?
Yes.
You can't be like somebody else. You have to be your own being, and you have to find what works for you, because you have your own innate abilities, strengths, and work with those things. And you don't have to be like somebody else. You have to be yourself. And you can, if you're like a particular person in your personality, you can model that person for sure. But if it's completely against the way you trade, then just trade what you want to trade, because at the end of the day, trading's about making money. It's like, I look at golf, for instance, because Kel knows, I played a lot of golf, and I've always wanted to be a professional golfer, and I've sort of gone off that at the moment because I'm going to do it later on in my life. But the thing with golf is it's very similar to trading, because golfers are always trying to perfect the perfect golf swing. They're trying to find the purest swing that feels good. They hit the ball pure every time. Most golfers rock up in a tournament, and they're not hitting the ball the best. They're not hitting it pure. They're not swinging the best. But they make it work. They make their performance work because they've got so much confidence in themselves, and they know that they can get the best out of a bad situation, right? So they don't stress about the golf swing. It's all about the performance and playing the game. They know how to win. They know how to play the game. And that's what this is, guys. You've got to learn how to play the game. You've got to understand what other traders are thinking, what the big boys are doing. You've got to see where they're coming into the market, where they're selling, or where they're taking stops out, or just holding the market up in one place. So we have to get in the flow of the bigger ocean. The big boys are driving these markets. We need to get into flow with those guys. So that's
an indication for that, Cam, is if trading, you're having challenges and trading's feeling hard to you, then you're not in flow.
No.
Don't go against the stream.
No.
Start to break it apart. You either do a coaching session with someone in IDTA,
yep.
And you put your hand up and you say, hey guys, and what will happen is someone else from another viewpoint will have a look and say, okay, this is what, are you doing this, no. And it's just that one moment in time where you go, wow, it opens up another flow. So the moment you feel like you're swimming upstream, you need to step back, and I can see many of the people I've worked with tonight in this webinar, I say stop trading from this one moment on, because you're locking in bad habits. You're locking that you're not good enough. You're locking in that you're not a great trader, because every time this happens, remember what I said, biochemically, you're releasing cortisol, which is locking down into your memory. And every time that you're going to get here, you're going to be fearful, and you're going to get triggered. And it kind of starts to feel exhausting. You lose the joy. You lose the joy. So Cam, we've taken everyone, I hope it's been valuable, but we have taken everyone a little bit over time tonight. That, you know, it's all of it. One thing I want to ask you, Cam, is a couple of people asked about books tonight, some great books based upon what we're thinking about being in the flow, being in the zone, simplified books. Can you recommend any right now?
Yep, there's lots of great books. You know, there's a really great trading psychologist, a guy called Brent Steenbarger, Steenbarger. Brent Steenbarger, he's very good. There's another guy out of England called Steve Ward. He's got a great book called High Performance Trading. And I love what he talks about with traders is like there's, you know how you were talking about tonight about the different levels, like you start as a child and then you're a teenager and then you're an adult and then you're in a different stages of life. And when you start trading, you know, he talks about how we're like children. You know, we behave like children. So we're bad losers. You know, we spit the dummy and, you know, we just have tantrums and all those sorts of things, right? And then when you become a teenager, you start to, you know, get a bit more, you know, outrageous, and you start to push your boundaries a little bit more, and you do things outside so you sort of find your way that way, and you make your big mistakes. And then you get a bit older, and you start to become more adult-like, and you start to, you know, see success, and you see those, but you still got those little bad habits that come in every so often. You get check of those, and then you go to master, and then that's where you just completely like the master, right? You just in flow, you just, you know, you just in one with the market, and you just know when you're on and when you're not, and you just pull yourself away out of the markets when it's not good for you or your trading style, and you plug back in when you're right. So yeah, he talks about that a lot. He works with lots of big professional traders, but they're some of the greatest books out there. There's a great book called you've got all the Mark Douglas books as well. Paula Webb, it was Mark Douglas's partner, but Paula's come and she's presented at 2 of our conferences before. But I want to give Paula a plug because she's got some great material.
She's amazing. She's a woman behind the man.
She's
a lot of the books.
She's very successful in business and trading, and a very accomplished speaker as well, and author.
And Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's always good, you know.
Oh, Joe Dispenza is, if you want mindset work.
If you want mindset, then here's a great book, Kelly Lowry.
Oh, Kelly.
Hasn't come out yet.
You've got lots of books there, Kel.
Oh, yeah. You know, for people too, and I will say, if there is a little bit of a challenge in this space, there is a shift program mid-year. So because of what's going on right now, you know, there might be an online one as well. So, you know, if this is all these things, it's whatever you need, we will create. And if we don't have it, as I said, if we have it, we have it. And we'll give you the dates, but if we don't have it, we'll create it for you. So
yeah, and I love the idea, Kelly, you came up about doing a session on patterns, like the training the brain and patterns.
Yeah, becoming a pattern hunter.
Yeah, that's and any ideas, guys? If there's anything out there that you want to know more about it, and you know, please do. We can do some really good sessions on this stuff based on what you guys need. So,
well, we will. We are.
Yeah.
So Cam, we've done a full session tonight. I hope you guys have seen value in the session Cam and I brought to you tonight, and we've inspired you, re-engaged you.
Yep.
Got you to really think about, again, your whole ecosystem, not just trading,
yep,
your whole life, because when your life is in balance and harmony, everything will flow in your trading.
Yeah.
You just go macro view and kind of look back and say, oh, well, if there are any pieces of my life that are looking and feeling imbalanced, then in this time we have right now, we've got another 90 days to make great inroads into our whole ecosystem so that everything's flowing and we can get in the zone if we're not.
Yeah. and there's like there was a really good. I was just thinking because we've got somebody in our trading midst has been a professional in blackjack and poker.
Yes.
And there's some really interesting. I was listening to this poker player recently, and he's Daniel Negura, I think his name is. He's like one of the best poker players in the world. He's just won millions and millions of dollars, and just listening to him was inspiring. Just on just his idea around risk and how he plays the game. And I found it, and I know trading and and poker playing is very different, but there's a when you listen to those people who deal in risky environments and how they cope and manage any of that sort of stuff, guys, because there's some great podcasts out there as well on but if you
game theory
game theory is brilliant as well, but anything you can do to learn about or just listen to people's stories on risk, and just really what we do is the risk is very small compared to what other people are doing. So that's it, Georgie.
I'm going to wrap you up, Cam. You're going to talk
Negranu.
So much value. I wanted to let everyone know the next goal setting session is on Thursday, the 9th of July. So make sure you lock that in your diary for the next session. And there's always one of the three of us always bring you these sessions. And again, as I said, we've actually had a full house tonight and everyone stayed on. So much quite engaging. So Cam, thank you for co-presenting with me.
Oh, thanks for inviting me, Kel.
Thank you everyone for being on and committing through this time. We got some good creation concepts out of tonight. So I'm gonna have to get to work and write this video so I can share it, and maybe I'll call you in to have some fun with me on that video, Cam.
Yeah, no, I'll come in and everyone have some fun, guys, and make sure you get some sunshine because it's just beautiful weather at the moment.
Totally, and we're streaming out to multiple platforms. So thank you, everyone.
Yes.
You are in the world of platforms and social media. Welcome. Cam and Kelly signing out. So I hope you got some great value, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you and good night.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Bye.